The anime begins with this scene. The protagonist, Yen, wants to accompany Charlotte to her home. He seeks permission from Charlotte's mother, who agrees. The brown-haired girl then asks Yen if they are from the Joral region because Yen can return there within just an hour, similar to a family visit where he can go and come back anytime. Yen then speaks to a wolf and asks him to be a companion for Charlotte in his absence. The wolf has no objections and sees it as a good opportunity to have more members in the family. Charlotte is surprised by Yen's words as he includes her in the family as if she were his wife. At that moment, Yen takes Charlotte's hands and tells her that she is already a part of his family. Charlotte blushes intensely from embarrassment, and her head feels like it's on fire due to Yen's boldness in wanting her to be his wife. The scene transitions to a carriage where they are heading home, with the wolf walking alongside them. Another large creature, a bear-like being, apologizes to Yen for the trouble he caused and expresses the desire to become Charlotte's personal guardian. When Charlotte questions who he exactly is, he laughs briefly and informs her that he is a member of her family. Yen gets annoyed by his words and warns him not to assume himself as part of the family without Charlotte's consent. Now, he must return to his garden. The scene shifts to when they finally reach their home. Charlotte informs Yen that she will go for a walk with the little wolf named Lu. Yen mutters to himself about how, after their journey to the Yuno region, Lu joined their family, and Charlotte no longer cares for him as much as before. He then talks to the bear-like creature, who appears sad because Lu was taken away from him by Charlotte. In a moment of confusion, Yen asks him another question. How long will your stay here last, Josetsu? So, Josetsu tells Yen that he is now a part of Charlotte's family because he loves her deeply and wishes to be with her. Yen's face turns red, and he is shocked to hear that Josetsu also loves Charlotte. Yen closes the journal in his hands and feels a profound sadness because he can't spend more time with Charlotte. He goes to the window and watches her playing with the little wolf. Despite his sadness, he is also happy because she can lead a normal life. Later, Charlotte sits beside Yen and expresses her desire to learn how to become a magical creature tamer. Yen is impressed by Charlotte's positive attitude, noting how she has matured since coming here. Yen agrees to teach her how to become a creature tamer, and Charlotte thanks him for this opportunity. The scene transitions to a morning where they are all sitting together. Yen tells us that since Charlotte started her training, he has discovered new aspects of her personality every day. Charlotte practices in the garden, using her powers on the wolf. The wolf runs at full speed, leaps high into the air, and returns to her quickly, displaying remarkable agility. Yen is amazed that she mastered this skill, as he didn't believe anyone could communicate with the wolf in such a way. Josetsu provokes Yen with some words, revealing that he loves Charlotte. Yen becomes extremely angry, and Josetsu tells him to return to the garden. Yen, outraged, declares that he will never go back because this is his home now, and he is a member of the family. The scene shifts to Charlotte rewarding Lu with a large bone for his actions. Then Yen approaches Charlotte, wanting to put his hand on the wolf's head. However, the wolf is aggressive and wants to bite him. Charlotte scolds Yen, telling him never to touch anyone like that. Josetsu then speaks, stating that Charlotte has reached an advanced level of monster language conversation, which is a highly commendable achievement. Charlotte wonders how Josetsu can understand them and communicate with them. Josetsu explains that he learned by living with humans for a long time, acquiring knowledge of the human language. The scene shifts to Charlotte trying to create a spell for monster conversation, but she seems tired. Yen advises her not to force it, saying it's natural not to be able to use that type of spell at the moment. Meanwhile, Lu speaks in human language, telling Yen not to touch his mother. Yen and Charlotte are surprised and tired, as Charlotte effortlessly used the spell. Josetsu speaks to Yen, praising Charlotte's exceptional abilities. The scene moves inside Yen's garden, specifically to a modest swimming pool. Yen tells Charlotte that it's a gift to celebrate her ability to speak to Lu. Lu thanks Yen for the big pool, and Yen instructs him to swim and enjoy the water. However, Josetsu intervenes, saying the pool is not for water pigs, but for wolves and humans. He declares himself a member of the family and wants to enjoy it just like everyone else. Lu then transforms into a girl, surprising everyone. They wonder how Lu can do that. Later, we see Charlotte playing in the swimming pool with Lu while Yen watches, happy that Charlotte is becoming more independent. Charlotte comes out of the pool and sits next to Yen, thanking him sincerely for everything he has done for her. So, Yen tells Charlotte not to speak so formally, as he is very happy that she is with him now. He then talks to her about the previous owner of the villa, who mysteriously disappeared. It seems that a strange pound coin was living here for more than 30 years, unsocial and avoiding the city. She seemed possessed, and suddenly she vanished. Some say she jumped off a cliff after failing her experiments, while others claim that the monster she created consumed her, and fungi took over her body. Charlotte is shocked and frightened by these rumors. Yen explains that due to these rumors, they were able to buy the palace at a very low price. Charlotte then notices the strange fungi in the water. Suddenly, a girl with white hair and glasses emerges, asking if they are the ones who stole her precious fungi. Charlotte is scared, thinking she might be a ghost. However, the black-clad girl clarifies that she didn't mean to scare them and apologizes to Yen and Charlotte. She introduces herself as Dorothy Grym. In the midst of this, Yen notices the place where she lives and thinks she has been here for a long time, yet he never noticed her presence. Suddenly, Charlotte, terrified, asks if she is a ghost and clings to Yen in fear. Dorothy, surprised, asks them what they are talking about and reveals that she is the one posing the questions here. She then asks Yen and Charlotte who they are specifically. Yen tells her they live in the palace above, and Dorothy Grym is intrigued. She thinks it's illogical, but suddenly suspects that they might be the ones who caused her disappearance 30 years ago. Everyone is astonished by this revelation. Dorothy Grym is amazed and finds it hard to believe that 30 years have passed. They go upstairs, and Dorothy says, things have changed a lot in 30 years. Who would have expected magical creatures like these to live here? Josetsu adds, yes, he said she's a dark fairy. So, Yen acknowledges that the water boar has indeed noticed that Dorothy Grym is unusual. Dorothy is astonished that a water boar can perceive such things and asks Charlotte about it. Yen then explains that Aileen is a rare descendant of elite fairies, almost mythical beings. He continues to say that dark fairies can live using magical energy in the air for at least 100 years without food or drink. Yen reflects on how they now have a phoenix, a water boar, and a dark fairy. He believes that seeing them all together is a unique occurrence. Yen thinks to himself about the potential legal nightmare if the previous resident, who seems to be the dark fairy, is still present. Charlotte is wanted, and there's nowhere else for her to hide. The same goes for Lu and Josetsu. Yen realizes that he needs to fix the situation, no matter the cost. He then suggests to Dorothy Grym to sell him the palace. Dorothy Grym thinks for a moment and agrees to sell him the palace, mentioning her preference for the basement. Yen is overjoyed and suggests determining the price later. However, Dorothy Grym surprises Yen by stating that she doesn't want any money. Instead, she proposes a condition. She wants Yen to help her get out of this predicament. Yen considers paying her as it would be easier, but Charlotte intervenes, explaining that Dorothy Grym seems to be in trouble and insists that they listen to what she has to say. Charlotte tells Yen that Dorothy Grym wants assistance, and if his mother is willing to help, he should help too. Lu, the water boar, also expresses his willingness to help. Dorothy Grym is delighted and expresses her gratitude, but she informs them that she will only ask this favor from Yen and Charlotte. Yen agrees, and they all move inside the house. And Yen asks her, "What do you want us to do to get you out of this situation?" But before she answers them, she tells them that she used to be a writer of various genres, from horror to mystery, social justice, and historical events. She was famous in the field and considered herself a genius. However, one day, she attempted to write a romantic novel and found herself in a severe creative block. The deadline was approaching, but she couldn't write a single sentence. At that moment, a strange person came, knocking on the door and entering the house. She quickly jumped out of the window and hid in the basement. Yen is amazed because she escaped from the deadline by hiding in the basement for 30 years. She tells him that the editor was a terrifying person. Yen says he's not obligated to help a girl like her, but she touches his ear, saying she's starting to feel a desire to preserve the castle. Yen tells her that he can't abandon someone who needs help. The girl then jumps off Yen and Charlotte and tells them that her creative block, which lasted for 30 years, is over. She felt a shiver when she looked at them and was confident that this combination would succeed. She grabs Charlotte's hand and says she wants to bring happiness to the world through her writing. Yen, somewhat surprised, asks again, "What do you want us to do for you?" The girl replies that, for her new novel, she wants them to act as a couple immediately. They are both astonished because they never imagined that. With that, our episode ends. Stay tuned for upcoming episodes, and please subscribe to the channel and activate the bell icon to receive updates.